time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. Like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, Axel, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching from, and welcome to another episode of Kidney Hub East Africa. I am half your host, Steve the Kidney Nurse. Before we get started, I definitely got to put up the show disclaimer, because I don't want anybody to talk about, oh, you giving false information. But no, let me see. Wait a minute. There we go. Kidney Hub East Africa. The information broadcast on Kidney Hub East Africa is provided for educational and informational purposes only, and is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and treatment. Even though I am a nurse, we're not giving medical advice here. We're giving informational and educational information. So with that being said, today on Kidney Hub East Africa, we are honored to welcome a special couple, and on the last minute notice, their son. I was blown away. But on the last minute, the son has joined us in this very important conversation. This couple from Kenya, whose journey is one of love, strength, and resilience. But before we bring on our guests, let's welcome our co-host, the kidney ambassador and kidney nurse, Tabitha Matigwa. So we're going to give them the intro, the co-host intro. Hey, Brother Moses, how you doing? I can't hear you.
How are you, Brother Steve?
All right, we had lost Tabitha. Here's Tabitha. Hello, Nurse Tabitha. How are you?
Oh, she's back.
I'm fine. I'm very fine. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming back again on Kidney Hub East Africa. We always value your expertise and information. Hope everything's going well with you today.
Yeah, I had a very good day. I spent most of the day at home.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good Mother's Day.
Okay, that's what most people do on Sunday, stay home. I know I do. So
yeah,
let's bring on our guest. Dickson, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And if I pronouncing it wrong, Mr. Dix, when you come on, please correct me. But Dickson Ogutu has been on dialysis for 6 years. Now, by his side, every step of the way, is his wife and caregiver, Rosemary Wangeci. And together, and I hope I pronounced her name right too, and together, they have walked through challenges many people may never fully understand, yet they continue to hold on to hope. Let's welcome to the show right now, all the way from Kenya, Dickson Ogutu and his lovely wife, Rosemary Wangeci. And we're going to give them the VIP intro. Hi, Dickson and Rosemary. Thank you so much for joining us and for allowing us to share your story. How are you doing?
We are fine, Steve.
So, Dickson, and unfortunately, we had got last minute notice that you were admitted into the hospital. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling better, Steve. I came yesterday with breathing difficulties immediately after dialysis. So when I came to the hospital, I am diagnosed with pneumonia, too much fluid accumulating in the lungs area. So right now I'm still on bed and the draining is still going on. We started draining at around noon and the fluid is still coming out. They have already drained around 1.5 liters.
Oh, wow. Wow. Tabitha, let me ask you, is this a common issue? Is this a common issue with many kidney patients when they come to the hospital, pneumonia or fluid buildup on the lungs? Or is this a case-by-case situation? Is this a common situation in Kenya that you may have seen?
Yes, Steve, I can say
I think it's a case by case. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dickson, what did you say?
I was saying it's case by case. People present differently. There are those who may come with breathing difficulties. There are those who may come maybe with pulmonary edema. There are those who may come with even tuberculosis. So presenting with some chest pain could translate to so many things, but it is handled case by case. Thank you.
All right, all right. Dickson, you have your microphone muted. So I wanted to ask you, Dickson, how has 6 years on dialysis changed your life?
Steve, dialysis for 6 years is not an easy walk. It started with me going for dialysis 2 times a week, and then it reached a stage where I was to go 3 times a week. And during that time, we had the social health insurance, which was covering only 2 seasons per week. So I had to strain a lot, and it is straining, Steve, family resources, family time, and even sometimes I miss good times like occasional, but I'm happy that my family has stood with me all along since the time I started dialysis. Even before I started dialysis, when I was first diagnosed, it was a very big challenge and not easy to accept. What I can say, it is not an easy walk.
Thank you for sharing that. Dickson, what has kept you going through the hardest days?
It is the support I get from my caregiver, my extended family, and my friends. And the organization I would like to appreciate most is my employer. I'm working in a non-governmental organization, and they understand my health, and they always support me whenever I need an off, go for extra sessions of dialysis. And also sometimes when I need medication and I don't have enough money, they have chipped in and given me a separate insurance cover that can cover for the 3rd season sometimes.
Wow, wait a minute. That's very surprising to hear. And why I say that, Dickson, I've known Brother Moses, Brother Moses, about 5, 6 years. It could be a little longer. And he's always, did we lose Dickson? No, we lost
Tabitha.
Tabitha. We're gonna put you in the middle, Dickson. Hold on. There you go. And Brother Moses, he's mentioned that many people have lost their employment because of kidney failure and this disease. And you expressed that you were grateful pretty much to your employer that they chipping in and give you the time. Is that something that's difficult for many people dealing with this disease over in Kenya when it comes to their employment, getting the support from their employer?
Steve, that is truly happening, but to speak honestly, at first when I started my dialysis, my employers were not comfortable, and there was a lot of debate of my termination. And I also received my termination letter. And I went home. And then some of them thought that my condition needs money and I cannot get money while I'm at home. I'm going to suffer most. Then they called me back, but in a different department. So currently, I am very much comfortable with the with the department, and the department is also comfortable with me, except that I know if I leave this department, I cannot perform in other department any better than what I am doing, just because they understand. But I have experience with this disease, Mr. Steve. Many people, even the medics, they don't understand this disease. I am working in a health organization, and some of the doctors, even if they see the fistula fitted on my right arm, they question, they don't understand what fistula is. They ask how is it related with the kidney. I have to explain, and I have learned also to tell people what it's all about. But I know, because I'm also a honest worker, hardworking person, and I perform when I'm on duty. And also I believe in God. It is my faith in God. And I know that my future is clear. If my destination is death, but I shall have done all that the Lord wants me to do here on earth. I am comfortable with my condition, though it is not an easy walk.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, because, when I heard you say really express appreciation for your employer, that made me think back what Brother Moses had mentioned in the past when it comes to getting off and people dealing with kidney disease in Kenya deal with this situation when it comes to work. Now, Rosemary, hello, Rosemary. Thank you for coming on. How did you feel when Dickson became ill and you first became a caregiver?
Okay. At first, I was shocked, but I had to chip in to strengthen his faith so that he can go well with the treatments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you support each other when the journey feels heavy?
Okay. If the journey is heavy, we go down to our knees and pray to our Heavenly Father for help, that His Spirit may always direct us what to do.
Brother Moses, you have any questions that you want to ask?
Oh, yes. First of all, I'm really proud of you, Brother Dickson, for really showing up for this show, especially at this moment when you are admitted at Aga Khan Hospital. I also want to appreciate your wife, Rosemary, for that kind of support. And you were able to show up together as a couple. I want to say this is a wonderful family, and we have to appreciate this from the highest order. And lastly, I want to appreciate Rosemary as an individual, because it is not easy. We've seen couples breaking up at a time of need. We've seen couples disintegrating, especially instead of coming in for their loved ones. Uh, um, and you are also part of the first line of caregiver. Thank you so much. Let me just ask you one question. What has been the most difficult moment for your family?
Okay, the most difficult moment is when sometimes, okay, we need some drugs and the insurance is off. We have to look for other ways to get the medicine. Yeah, and it's always tough.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Many a times I go that route. We really understand. And where do you both find strength and hope?
Okay, our strength we get from the relatives and also friends. They do strengthen us, and where they can help, they really help us. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of financial resources, uh, something like that.
Brother Moses, we lost Dickson and Rosemary, but let's bring up her son, because I forgot all about her son. I hope
Yes.
he's available. I see him here. I don't see his camera on. Hello, Gordon. Are you available?
Oh, he's available.
We have Gordon Ogutu. His mic is silent, so I don't know if he can hear us or he's there. If you can reach out to him, Brother Moses, and let him know that we have him on, that would definitely be appreciated. We lost him. So we know that the internet connection in Kenya or East Africa can be very sketchy. Tabitha, please share with us while we wait for Dickson and Rosemary and their son, Gordon. Share with us, do you see, as a renal nurse specialist, do you see a lot of families supporting their loved ones that go to kidney dialysis? Or do you see them coming alone to treatment? Or do you see wives or husbands accompany their spouses to treatment? What do you see in your experience?
I'll give different experiences. Let me start with the worst. One time, a spouse, of course, a wife came and asked me, people who started dialysis with my husband, most of them died. You mean mine refused to die? And that one shows that this person is already feeling like she has given up. Um, and I would really give hope to the spouse. But as I've been in the renal unit for quite some time, there are several family members who have been supporting the patients. Other patients along the way, they have missed the support of their relatives, and that is why counseling for is continuous. The moment you realize that there is weak support in the family, we try to bring in the family, sometimes even calling them either for a family conference or trying to get them by even making a follow-up telephone call to see if this patient can gain support so that the patient can continue with with their normal life. Some of them maybe they are not able to bring themselves and they need someone to bring. Again, as they continue on dialysis, we also realize life has to continue. If it is the wife, she has to continue maybe with her former job, or if it is the husband or the parent, they still have to continue with their former job. So sometimes, if the patient is very weak, I bring in the issue of maybe employing a caregiver who will be bringing the patient for dialysis and will be staying with the patient maybe at home and even be preparing the meal, or they identify one family member who can be doing that while the others are able to go and extend their caregiving either by providing the finances and other moral support. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. So we have joining us to the stage or to the show is Gordon Ogutu, the son of Dickson and Rosemary Ogutu. Gordon, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you joining us today. Let me ask you before Brother Moses, uh, ask you questions. Let me ask you, what made you want to come on today's show and support your dad?
Yeah, well, I was waiting to watch the show and learning that my dad has been admitted to the hospital, and my mom, who is the caregiver, was also around. I felt like it might be a very difficult interview and podcast for them. So I was like, I tried calling them and asked them maybe if they can ask you for the link so that I can also join just in case maybe they will face challenges joining or answering question. But they did very well, and I'm very much grateful for them.
Mhm. Let
My
me
dad is a
ask
very
you,
strong man.
absolutely. Let me ask you before Brother Moses talk with you. Um, have you, before your dad got sick with kidney disease, have you ever heard of kidney disease?
Yeah, before he was diagnosed with the kidney disease, one of my cousins had. We were actually living with him. My dad is very much aware of that. Yeah, so we've actually seen it in our extended family, in the relatives. We had someone who was suffering from the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how has this seeing like your cousin dealing with it and now your dad impacted by it, how has that impacted your life?
Well, it was a breaking news, but knowing that we have seen it before and understanding that it was something that was manageable, we we felt like we had learned from the previous experience. Since this cousin of ours, we were staying together, I felt like it was something that was manageable, and the goal was to do a transplant, which never happened. But for those 6 years, he's still going strong, even without the transplant yet.
Absolutely. And before I let Brother Moses intervene, um, in your mind, do you have any concerns that you could be impacted by kidney disease?
Yeah, I remember when my dad got the disease, most of the time I would spend on Google, like finding out what are the causes of kidney disease, like what exactly brings this kind of diseases, so that I can know maybe how to avoid it in the future. And
Mm,
doing most of the research, we found out that one of them is hydration. If you don't drink much water, sometimes even sleep, and sometimes even an avoidable situation like conditions that already exist in someone, like blood pressure and all the rest of the things. So I felt like I would try to prevent, but when it comes,
I don't know, but prevention is very important. Taking caution, like just finding out ways in which you can avoid kidney failure as a person.
Absolutely.
I've been
Absolutely.
doing a lot of research on that.
Brother Moses, you had some questions you may want to add to the conversation?
Oh, yes. Gordon,
Yes.
one thing I must appreciate you for forming part of caregiving circle for your dad. In fact, uh, caregiving is one of the most sensitive part of inclusion when it comes to management of CKD and better outcome for your dad's treatment. Now you inspire so many. I want to assure you, you really inspire so many. And sometimes I'm just lacking words how to appreciate you because you are doing an awesome job. But then going straight to question Gordon, um, there are times when maybe your mom is tired, what something we refer as caregiver burnout, and you realize that it is normal. It is normal just for an individual to get a point that he can not take it anymore. Have you ever experienced such moments in your life that your mom is so tired, you are also tired, but there is the spirit that drives you uh, towards taking care of your dad? Have you experienced that at any particular time, and how did you go about it?
Yeah, not really, but most of the time when it's close, I've realized that we've always been encouraging each other. Like I say, in this case, you find that my dad is this sick person here, and you find that he's the one who is sometimes even stronger than both of us. He's the one who keeps us moving. Is like the faith that he has that he can be able to manage the condition makes us feel like we need to do the same. Because if we give up and the person we seek is not given up, that one alone encourages us to be strong as well. I've seen him encouraging us. I've seen also my mom coming in and talking to us about it. My dad has openly like sat down in several times when we gather together as a family and talked out about the disease and the challenges faced. But at the end, he shows a very confidence, like courage, that this is something that can be managed. Yeah, his strength and faith really motivates us a lot and makes us even like take good care of him.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Many a times I speak to your dad because we used to go, sometimes back, we used to go the same dialysis facility. And every morning, our beds will be almost close to each other so that we ensure that we story uh, uh, entire journey of 4 hours of dialysis. Then he keep on mentioning about you being a potential donor. What really inspired you to think about uh, donating life your dad, because I know how difficult it is. I'm just speaking as a patient to find one. How did you really make up your mind, have the courage, and even the wisdom to decide now you also need to share life?
Yeah, one of the reasons is that I love him very much. I love my dad very much, and the other reason is because I have seen what he is going through, and dialysis is it's not something that is easy. I see him coming out of dialysis sometimes very weak, and I've also done a lot of research. I've watched a lot of videos, testimony of people who have donated their kidney, their life going on very normal, including the person donated the kidney to, and the dialysis no more taking place, and the person going back to their daily life activities normally, just like they were living before the kidney failure. So those are the few things that have really inspired me, even though we faced a lot of challenges because it has never happened up to now. We have been working on that. One of the biggest challenges was the finance challenges. We were not able to raise that huge amount of money that was required. Yeah, but it's something that we, if it will happen when we're still holding on strong, we'll be very much grateful for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Keep on inspiring the world
Brother
and
Moses,
communities. Thank you.
let me
Yes.
interject and add you and Tabitha to the conversation, because Gordon says something that was really important and that you expressed many times, Brother Moses, and we talked about many times. Well, we've been doing this about 5 years. I don't know, 4, 6 years, Brother Moses. But
Yeah, about 6 years, 5.
the one thing Gordon mentioned was the cost of transplant, and knowing how, I can't think of, is it the NIH, NIS, but the National Health Service over there that pays for dialysis, because here in the U.S. it's Medicare. They cover a portion of the transplant, but some places may not all, but some transplant centers may have where they want you to have a certain amount of money in the bank. Not all of them. My question is, Brother Moses, and to you, Nurse Tabitha, how important is it that the insurance agency covers these costs of services that impact kidney patients in Kenya? For instance, like the medicine, you say you got to come out of pocket for erythropoietin ESA medicine, the binders, iron medicine. But when it comes to transplant, what portion, if any, do the government plays in helping pay that bill? Brother Moses, I want to go to you first.
Normally, the cost of transplant in a government hospital is, they say, from the records, they say 1.4 to 1.7. And now, from 1.4 to 1.7 million Kenya shilling, it doesn't mean that is what is needed. There are other comorbid bills that come with it. Number one, the government pays barely a quarter of that amount. So you can imagine, speaking from that figure, if the national hospital, the social health authority pays a quarter of amount what you are supposed to pay, then it makes in some setbacks throughout the process. Now, a transplant alone has so many packages attached to it that really makes it difficult. Just like Gordon has mentioned, that financial becomes a problem because one, there are other miscellaneouses that arises that is needed during and after transplant. And then there is the cost of traveling to transplant center, doing pre-transplant test and examinations. And then there is the case of accommodation. And then when you factor all this, you see we are moving towards another figure altogether. And then there is a back and forth. The government bureaucratic system that really happens. I've seen 3 warriors repeatedly beginning from square one. They do the pre-transplant test, then it is rejected. Again, they are advised to begin afresh. I don't know what in between happens, but Tabitha knows what happens. Maybe she will explain that when I'm done. And coming at a point of where you need money to sustain this project, the bitter part of it is that there is anti-rejectory drugs that normally patient takes so that the new graft does not get rejected by the body. Those drugs are expensive. The government of Kenya, to be specific, the SHA system package pays some meager for the drugs. Today, if you pick 10, 3 would say, 7 out of 10 would say that they cannot afford those meds because those who are at upcountry in the city at Kenyatta National Hospital, where there is only one single facility, pharmacy, and then we have another one at Moi Teaching and Referral. Now, it means if you are in Mombasa, you have to organize for your drugs to get to your destination. If you are in some far place like Marsabit is one of the farthest corner of this country, Brother Steve, and it is undeveloped. So you have to get away of either moving to the city so that you would be going monthly or after a fortnight. But then it is also a due process, quite tedious, that you end up queuing. The stocks are out. Like now at Kenyatta National Hospital, the drugs are running out. You go there as I speak. I was speaking to few warriors from other groups, and they are talking about those drugs are not available. Sometimes they have to buy as they wait, but then you can wait endlessly. So you have just basically to get into mechanism of ensuring that you don't miss those drugs. So that is the burden, the financial burden, because transplant alone is a walkover. But then even if one decides to raise to do a fundraising today, I'm very sure majority will get the much needed money for the transplant, but other logistics, including post-transplant meds. So that is what makes even transplant a very complicated affair in terms of finances, Brother Steve. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My mic was muted. Tabitha, what have you seen when it comes to transplant working at the hospital? Is this a normal occurrence, or this is very very far in between because of the financial burden that Brother Moses just shared with us when it comes to transplant? What can you share with us about that, being a professional?
Okay, what I would say, thank you. The financial burden is real. For Kenya shilling, $1 is equals to 129 to 139 Kenya shillings. That is $1. So for preparation for kidney transplant, where I work, which is Kenyatta National Hospital, we prepare for both the donor and the recipient. 200,000 is enough for preparation for both if the patient does not have many issues that need to be sorted, or maybe even the donor does not have many issues that need to be sorted. 200,000 is mostly enough. If the match is quite low, the patient is supposed to be given drugs to improve the match, or at a cost of 240,000. But for those whose match is okay, they don't need to be given that drug, and the drug is given during surgery and day 3 after surgery. Then our hospital or our national hospital insurance pays for surgery around 700,000 in the hospital where I work for the recipient, and for the donor it pays 168,000, and that is enough for the patient from surgery up to day 7, and for the recipient, mostly for the donor, they are discharged after day 5. Then now the patient has to keep coming for follow-up. For the recipient, they're supposed to be seen, like, let's say, for example, 3 times the following week, 2 times the other week, until they stabilize where they need to come maybe once a month or maybe once every month. But before we reach there, the first 6 months, we usually say it is for negotiation. Now, every time they come, we need to check on the urea and the electrolytes. We need to check if they have infection. We also need to check the levels of the drug. Like, let's, for example, if the patient is taking tacrolimus or cyclosporin, and it's every time they visit, they are charged around 10,000 per visit, because of all that need to be done plus the consultation fee. Then every month, a patient is using drugs for a cost of around 30 to 40,000, and some may be using even more if they have other prescription apart from the immunosuppressant. And our national hospital insurance pays around 16,000 out of the 40,000, and it depends only when the drugs are available. Of course, there are sometimes maybe the drugs are not available. As they wait to come, sometimes the patient are forced to pay from the pocket. But when the drugs are available, it will cater for 16,000. We usually advise the patient when they are stable, they just need to come for review every 3 months, and every time they come for review, it means that we have to check all that, the urea and creatinine, we have to check if they have infection, we have to do urinalysis, the drug levels, and they have to part with like around 10,000. So per visit they will part with the 10,000, and then again they'll also refill their medication. So I usually tell the family, even as they prepare for the transplant, the greatest challenge is the post-transplant care, because pre-transplant, you can get somebody who can even donate money for the preparation. But how will they take care of that kidney after the patient has received the kidney? Because all they need to do is to make sure they have set aside some money. Let's say, for example, if a patient come with low HB post kidney transplant and they need transfusion, they need what we call leukocyte filter, and the leukocyte filter is around 22,000 Kenya shillings. By the time you transfuse with one filter, it gets clogged, and now when you're putting the second unit, you need another filter. So it means you transfusing the patient, you have used an extra 40,000. And I keep telling them, you need to really keep some money aside. Transplant is not an emergency, it is a process. It requires preparation, and if you're not financially prepared, you can just take some time, raise enough money that will take you at least for quite some time before you can now get stable, so that you don't have to call your friends like an emergency. I need 20,000 because I need transfusion. That is it's quite a challenge for our patient, because average Kenyans and whatever they're earning, you'll find there are those who may come and they get transplanted, but if they are having issues with finances, that kidney will end up rejecting. And if we have maybe like this, let's say for example, a family member who is sponsoring the transplant, we really have to insist that it's good for that money, if it is possible, you even deposit money for post-transplant care in the patient account, or maybe even in the hospital account, so that the post-transplant care will be good. Thank you.
Thank you for that. You explained that very, very well. Tabitha, did you have any questions you wanted to ask Dickson and Rosemary? You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I think the son has volunteered to give out the kidney to the parents. As I do counseling for them, I start by educating them the functions of the kidney, and I'm sure our son here is already aware about the functions of the kidney. I tell them about the tests that we are going to do as we prepare to remove the kidney. We want to know, do you have the two kidneys? Are they working well? Is there any problem? How is your glucose tolerance test? Is your blood pressure also okay? They'll check even on the they'll also do a simple test like urinalysis, because it really gives us a lot. If there is any protein in urine, maybe they need to investigate, is there a problem? Then I think so as they do the ultrasound, they'll check on the condition of the kidney. Is it okay? Is it the right shape? how they'll also do other radiological tests to see the condition of even the veins and the arteries, or maybe there are other veins and arteries that the surgeons also need to deal with. And there's a lot of in-depth preparation to just, first of all, for your safety as a donor, because we don't want to remove the kidney and then your body starts yearning for whatever we have removed. First, it's for your safety. Number two is for the safety of the patient. We do tests like HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. If any of the three is positive, we just say you are not a very good donor for the sake of the safety of our recipient. And then because you are a man, most of the greatest worry for a young man, will I be able to perform sexually? Will my performance be affected? Will it decline? But I usually reassure and tell them, after we have removed the kidney, and it's good for you to know where the kidneys are, just below your ribs, there behind, and behind and below your ribs, inside there, that is where the kidneys are. Then when we are removing, we cut somewhere just below the ribs, and then you're able to get the kidney. So we don't go to the testes, we don't go to where you are below down there when we are removing the kidney. So we reassure that your sexual performance is not going to be affected because we have removed the kidney. Again, we allow you to rest for a month, to just take a break. If you are working an official job, you are given like sick off, or if you're working casual job, we tell you also to just take a break, rest, eat well, do self-care for yourself. After 1 month, you are free to go back to work. And if you were doing farming, you can go back to farming. If you were lifting anything, you can go ahead and continue doing, and your body will get stronger, and you will continue with your normal work. So in case there is any worry or any fear that you may have as a donor, you can always you can still call me, ask and clarify, but you are up to a worthy cause. And remember, we say that as a donor, you need follow up even post donation. Even if it means you coming for review once a year, it is very, very important. And we say that review for once a year, even if someone is not sick, you need to go for a checkup at least once a year to confirm your kidneys are working well, to confirm your heart is okay. And even for men over 40, they need to be checked on the condition of their prostate. So when they say that you need to do a follow-up, going to be seen in the hospital, is not only because you are a donor. It's good for you to do that follow-up. Of course, like for us in the where I work, we follow our donor, and even after post donation, you are still welcome to come and follow up in the clinic, or wherever you will have done donation, you can still be followed up. Thank you.
Tabitha, did you have any questions for Dickson and his wife? We have presented you with some questions to ask.
Maybe are there times when they have felt overwhelmed by the care? Maybe I could ask Rosemary, and maybe what they have done.
So what's the question?
The question is, are there times, Rosemary, as a spouse, you have felt overwhelmed, and what did you do?
I will talk on behalf of Rosemary. She has left. She's staying far away from the hospital.
Mm.
So Rosemary
Thank
has been
you.
of a great support in this case. She has experience from her childhood. Back their home, they had family members who had the kidney issue, and some were managed. So up to date, Rosemary is still about for the transplant. It is me who is only reluctant, but Rosemary and even my son, all my family members, they still need transplant. But when she becomes overwhelmed, Rosemary believes in prayers, and her prayers has brought miracles in our home. My diagnosis was a great heartbreaking opportunity or time for my family, but other people who are not aware or don't understand the disease, even I myself, I was scared. And I can say she's a wonderful counselor, a wonderful caregiver, a wonderful wife, a wonderful mother. She has stood with me all along through difficult times. Sometimes, if we don't have anything, she can go out and work. She toils all day long. We call it juakali. And she brings everything to the table. All my money go to the hospital, but the family uh, budget, she's taken everything, including the education of our children, and she has been of a great support. But she's just doing some small business. When she's overwhelmed, you can't notice. He does some. He does not. She does not rest. She works, and she says, work reduces stress. If she sits down, she will be stressed. So she's always at work. It's only sleep that stops her from working. I think that is how she manages stress.
Okay. Wow. Let me ask a quick question to you, Gordon. Um, Seeing your dad undergoing dialysis, what has dialysis taught you about love and patience?
What dialysis has taught me about love and patience.
Yes.
I can say dialysis, it has shown me that the humankind, the inventories that people come with, like the dialysis machine itself, I've never done research, but I will go and do it on how these things were invented. But these are very big things that have really helped lives. It has taught me that looking at how I remember a few weeks ago, he was around here in Nairobi. He attended dialysis here, and I was with him when he was doing the dialysis. I sat there for about 4 hours.
Mm.
And during this time, I did not just sit at one place because I was like, it's not easy. It's tiresome. I came where I came where I stay, and I went back to pick him in the evening. It has taught me that sometimes patience is very important because I can't imagine like myself being in that bed for 4 hours while the machine is doing its work. So I feel like he's a very patient person, and that has really helped him for the past 6 years, twice a week, sitting on that machine for 4 hours. That is a very great act of patience.
All right, thank you for sharing that. Rosemary, I'm sorry, Tabitha, do you have any more questions
Um,
for Gordon or Dickson?
unmute.
I can hear you. Did you have any more questions, Tabitha? Okay, we lost Tabitha. So, Dixon, I know your wife had to depart, because you're far away from the hospital. But let me ask you, you may get asked, may answer this for, maybe not. But what do you think she would say if I asked her, what do most people often not understand about caregiving? Can you hear me? Dixon, can you hear me?
Steve, ask the question again.
I said, if you were to answer for Rosemary, what would she say if I asked her, what do most people often not understand about caregiving?
If I can understand you clearly, you are asking what people think about caregivers.
No, what do they often not understand about caregiving?
Okay, many people, they don't understand the role of caregivers because when we go for dialysis, like when you maintain, where I maintain sometimes, and you are free from infections, you look normal. People may think that caregiving is a waste of time. You can do your things by your own. But this thing attacks when you are not aware. You can go for dialysis strong and walking, and when you come out, you are drained. It has happened to me several times. My son can attest to that. I go walking very strong, and when I come out on wheelchair. Sometimes I end up in the wards, like the one that has happened to me this time around. I was quite well. It was okay. I was walking. I went to the hospital. Immediately after dialysis, I lost strength. I lost appetite. I started coughing, and I was straining. I had breathing difficulty. And that's why I was given referral and not yet. The person next to is the caregiver. And if it's not far away from me, I will suffer. She was away from me, but I had to call her when I was at the hospital. And she came immediately, a distance of about 100 kilometers away. The role of caregivers is very important. And for you to understand or to enjoy, it is the personal relationship with people. Even if you are a normal person, if you don't have any problem with your health, how do you relate with your family members? How do you relate with people around you? Out of those, you will find people who are for you and are willing to suffer and to walk the same path with you. Steve, I think I've answered your question.
Thank you for that, Dixon. Tabitha, welcome back. We had lost you for a minute. Did you have any questions? Any more questions you wanted to ask Mr. Dickson or Gordon?
Yeah. not really a question, but as you was talking about the role of the caregiver, it's good for the caregiver and even the patient to educate themselves more about kidney disease, so that now you may also be able to cope. It's also good to practice self-care. As a spouse, you need to eat. Even as you dialysis, make sure you've taken care of yourself. Oh God, I'm lost.
That's no problem, Tabitha. Let me jump in and ask Gordon a question. Gordon, let me ask you this. What message would you give other sons or daughters that their parents in East Africa? What message would you give to other sons and daughters facing this with their parents? What could you tell them to help them deal with this? Because I'm sure in East Africa, this is a big deal when it comes to kidney disease. So share what you would say to other sons or daughters that would see this program in the future.
I will say that kidney disease, or let me say kidney failure, is not the end of life for the person affected, the patient. It is not the end of their life. They can still live with the kidney failure, and it is manageable. And one of the things that I've really learned that it's very helpful is the patient who is having kidney failure. The important thing from the loved ones, especially the closest family members, is to show them love. Show them that you care for them and show them that you love them, and always be there to encourage them. Because what I've seen in situation where the closest family members feel like they are weak and they are discouraged by the news, especially when it's fresh, when that diagnosis comes, that you one of the family members has been pronounced having kidney failure, it can be a very hard breaking news. And what matters a lot is how we react to it. So we cannot change the fact that the kidney has failed, but we can be able to change our reaction and our attitude toward the kidney failure. Once we understand that it is manageable and people can live with it while preparing for transplant, they can be able to overcome that. And one thing that I will also encourage them is to find out, watch testimonies of people who have lived with this kidney failure, and do research. That one will also keep them moving. Personally, that's one of the things that have kept me moving. I've watched videos of testimonies from people who have lived for a very long time doing dialysis, and those who had successful transplant. Yeah.
Thank you, Gordon, for that. I appreciate that. So we're over our time limit, but that's okay. Brother Moses, anything you want to add before we start winding down? Any questions or comments to Gordon or Dickson?
Because we dedicate this show to specifically caregivers, because they are playing a vital role towards this management of CKD. And I want to thank Gordon for really taking time to understand the condition of the dad. And Gordon, I want to assure you that by so doing, you will be impacting so many, even other communities who are at a risk of CKD. Keep on fighting. Keep on searching into notes.
Look like Brother Moses might have frozen. We know about the internet situation in Kenya, so it's well understood. Tabitha, do you have any last words, questions, or comments for Gordon or Mr. Dickson?
I want to affirm and say I'm really impressed by the way the employer has really supported the patient, of which we would really advocate for everyone out there, because kidney disease is real. Employer, we need to look for ways to accommodate people who are working with us and they have kidney disease. They need to if they need to dialyze twice a week, kindly let us release them so that they can dialyze twice a week as they continue performing their duty, because they need that salary to support their family. I also want to say thank you to the family, because I've seen that the family support has been very, very good. And I would appeal for families who have patients who have kidney disease. Remember that patient need a lot of support. And just like the way we have seen the wife and the son, they are really supporting, we need the family members to support the patient so that that patient can do well. I have seen the patient has got an inner strength to continue, and he's willing to continue with life. And we are feeling for our patient. If you do not have that inner strength to continue, sometimes it can be very difficult, people pushing you to go for dialysis twice a week. But if you have that inner strength, you'll find that it becomes very easy for you to wake up, go for that dialysis when things are very tough. You are able to continue. And I'm glad that the patient is also preparing for transplant, because we say transplant is a better option. There is a way, as you continue doing dialysis, your body at times becomes weak. There is a way sometimes also someone gets infection, they need to be treated. They keep fighting with anemia as they do dialysis. There is mineral bone disease that comes in with dialysis. But now when you get a transplant, apart from the cost that is there where you need to pay for your medication, we say it is a better option, because now the body is able now to fight for itself. The HB is as near normal as possible. You're able to pass urine, and whatever function of the kidney the body was missing is restored back. Thank you, Steve, for this.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Tabitha. Brother Moses, we had lost
Thank
you.
you.
Can you go back over what you were saying before your internet was interrupted?
Oh, yes. In other words, I was encouraging Gordon to keep on fighting, because he is also a warrior. Keep on fighting, because you are fighting for your dad and fighting for other communities who are at a risk. So, yes, I want to encourage you to keep on inspiring people. And I also wish you the best as you do your, as you go through donating to your dad. We've got few people like you who voluntarily think of that way. So keep it up. You are ambassador, a great ambassador indeed. And God bless you, and keep on fighting. Never lose hope.
Mm.
Yes.
I did want to ask before we go two things. I want to ask Mr. Dickson, by going through this treatment, what has kept your hope alive?
Thank you, Steve. My hope has been kept alive by the inspirations that I receive from positive speaking people like Moses and many my family members. As you see, I still have a young family. Gordon is my firstborn. My lastborn is in grade 10. And I struggle very much. Sometimes when I wake up going for the dialysis, I wake around 4 o'clock in the morning so that I can reach hospital and make a queue, because the facility is small, but the patients are many. So sometimes when I feel discouraged, I think of my family. And for my love for my family, I just struggle and say, I have to fight. I am fighting to survive, just to survive for them. Approaching 60, about 3 years to go at my retirement. I want that when I retire from active employment, I leave them when they are all self-reliant. That is my prayer and my dream. But I still have hope that I will continue living with or without transplant, because dialysis machine is an external kidney. It's doing the work of the kidney. So I have confidence that I will continue with dialysis. I will continue living. I will continue working. Even after my retirement, I will continue working. I will continue supporting my family and even an extended family. Because if I tell you, I only have 3 children, but I still have foster children who are under my care. I care for them, and I feel motivated when I support them, and they also support me in one way or the other. Thank you.
Wow. Hey, thank you, Mr. Dickson, for that. And I want to say, Mr. Dickson, your wife Rosemary, and Gordon, we want to thank you for sharing such a powerful and touching story and journey with us today. Your story is a reminder that behind every patient is a family caring, love, sacrifice, which your son is thinking about making a sacrifice, and strength in ways many may never see. So, here at Kidney Hub East Africa, we want to wish you and your family continued strength, good health, and hope in the journey ahead. And then to our viewers, may this story inspire compassion, support, and awareness for all families living with kidney disease. This has been Kidney Hub East Africa. We want to thank you for watching, Brother Moses. Thank you as always, Mr. Dickson, Mr. Gordon. Thank you for joining, Nurse Tabitha. We appreciate you always for coming and assisting the show. We see everyone later. Good night, everyone, for where you're watching. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Kidney Hub East Africa. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Darren. We have breaking news. More than 600,000 Americans have kidney failure. While the number of people with kidney failure is enormous, the number of people with its precursor, chronic kidney disease, is staggering. An estimated 31 million Americans, or about 10% of the US population. Diabetes and hypertension cause 2/3 of all cases of kidney disease. 1 out of every 3 Americans is at risk for kidney disease, and kidney disease is now among the top 10 causes of death in the United States. In addition, 9 out of 10 people with early to moderate kidney disease don't know they have it, putting their health in jeopardy. Are you at risk? For more information, contact urbankidneyalliance.org. The life you save may be yours.